Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We have more gaming and PlayStation news, rumours and leaks to go over. If you enjoyed today's video, please show your support by hitting that like button. So there's a lot of excitement in the fighting game community right now, and a big part of that excitement is centered around a brand new title called Marvel Tōkon Fighting Souls, developed by Arc System Works in collaboration with Marvel Games. This is looking to be one of the most anticipated fighting games in recent years. Fans of both Marvel and competitive fighters have been eagerly awaiting for more news on this game, and during EVO USA 2025 they finally got some news. We all know that a closed beta for Marvel Tōkon Fighting Souls is officially happening from September the 5th to September the 7th, and now we know that it's exclusive to the PlayStation 5 during that period. And the game will eventually release on both PlayStation 5 and PC, but this early look is strictly for PlayStation 5 users. The beta will offer players access to 6 iconic characters from the Marvel universe, and those characters are Doctor Doom, Captain America, Spider-Man, Miss Marvel, Star-Lord and Storm. While the version shown during EVO is already playable at the event, the closed beta version will come with some additional features like online matchmaking and dedicated lobbies, making it the first real taste of what the competitive scene might actually look like. If you're already registered with PlayStation's beta program, then you're good to go. You don't really need to do anything. You're automatically signed up. If you're not registered with PlayStation's beta program, you need to head over to the game's official page on the PlayStation Store, scroll down and then follow the registration steps. You'll need a PlayStation Network account to participate. Even if you couldn't attend EVO this year, which is one of the biggest fighting game tournaments in North America, this upcoming beta gives fans a real shot at trying the game for themselves. Marvel Tōkon Fighting Souls is currently scheduled for release sometime in 2026, launching on both PlayStation 5 and PC via Steam. Until then, September's beta is the next big milestone, so if you're into fighters or just a Marvel fan looking for something new, you won't want to miss this in September. Certainly is exciting news if you are into fighting games. Let me know in the comments down below, guys, how you get on signing up to the beta program, and let's move on. Next up, we've got new details about Silent Hill F, the upcoming entry in the long-running horror series. And the game is set for release on September the 25th for PlayStation 5, PC and Xbox, and the game is aiming to mix classic Silent Hill style psychological terror with a deeper narrative than we've seen before in past entries. In a recent interview with Polygon, the game's writer Ryukishi07, best known for his work in Japanese horror visual novels, revealed that Silent Hill F will feature 5 different endings, including the return to the franchise of the classic UFO ending. For longtime fans of Silent Hill, that's a bit of a throwback, since the UFO endings in earlier Silent Hill titles were always a little bit bizarre, tongue-in-cheek if you like, on the story, usually involving aliens capturing the protagonist. However, interestingly enough, aliens are not just a joke this time around. In Silent Hill F, extraterrestrial themes are actually part of the story. The main character, Hinako, talks about a sci-fi tale she wrote with her classmates, and her personal journey in the game contains reoccurring references to alien events. So the inclusion of a UFO ending might actually tie into the game's story in a more meaningful way. Ryukishi07 confirmed that the game will have a new Game Plus mode, which won't be just a repeat of the original story. Players can expect additional story content, new cutscenes, and different boss encounters. While your first playthrough of the game will funnel you through one fixed ending, your decisions and actions in later playthroughs can unlock new outcomes. It's not as simple as a good or a bad ending either. The lines are blurred in the game, and the game encourages multiple reruns to see the full scope of the narrative. In another interview with Famitsu, Ryukishi07 explained that they originally wanted to set the game in Shizuoka Prefecture, but the name literally means Silent Hill or Quiet Hill. However, the presence of Mount Fuji in the background made the setting feel less eerie and more picturesque, and it's not ideal for a horror atmosphere, so they went in a different direction to keep the tone unsettling and immersive. With its blend of rich storytelling, branching paths and psychological approach to horror, Silent Hill F is shaping up to be more than just a scarefest. It's aiming to be an emotionally layered experience that rewards replaying. Guys, let's move on. Now here's something PC gamers have been waiting on for a number of years. Bloodborne, one of the most beloved games on the PlayStation 4, has never officially received a PC release, but thanks to recent advancements in PS4 emulation, that's finally starting to change. A PS4 emulator called SHAD PS4, which is spelled SHAD PS4, has made major progress. In its latest version 0.10.0, players are now able to run Bloodborne on a range of PC setups, even older GPUs like the RX 580, with only 4GB of VRAM. A game that once demanded a high-end console now runs at 60 frames per second at 768p resolution on a mid-range piece of hardware. A video uploaded by YouTuber Protein Gaming showcases this performance using just that setup. And these improvements are largely thanks to updates in the emulator that fix VRAM-related memory leaks and improve game stability across different configurations. And it's not just Bloodborne either. The emulator's latest version has also improved emulation for other PS4 exclusives like The Last Guardian. Add to that the efforts from the modding community who are enhancing Bloodborne with improved visuals and tweaks that bring it closer to a remaster, and it's clear that the game is enjoying a second life on the PC platform. Of course, this is not an official port, it's emulation, and that comes with all the usual disclaimers around legality, performance variation, and setup complexity. But the fact that Bloodborne can now run smoothly on mid-tier PCs is a huge deal for fans who've been waiting for any way to play this masterpiece outside of the PlayStation ecosystem. If only Sony pulled their finger out on this one and made the damn remaster of Bloodborne for PlayStation 5, they would of course have a PC version ready to go too. So come on Sony, what are you waiting for? There's money on the table here, come and collect it. Anyway guys, let's move on. Bloober Team, the studio known for their work on titles like Layers of Fear and The Medium, is bringing a new horror project to the table called Cronos: The New Dawn. In a recent interview with MP First, two of the game's key developers, Gregor's Like and Jacek Zaiba, shared more details on what to expect, and it looks like fans of narrative-driven horror games have a lot to look forward to. For starters, Cronos: The New Dawn will include New Game Plus mode, which means that once you've completed the game, you can dive back in with extra challenges, including the option to crank up the difficulty level. New Game Plus will also allow players to see things they might have missed the first time round, offering a reason to replay the game beyond just a second ending. And while the game is being described as strictly linear, that doesn't mean it's completely on rails. According to the developers, the game is structured to move forward in a clear and focused way, which fits the horror genre better. That said, players will still have moments of exploration and freedom, such as being able to backtrack to certain areas and unlock hidden content. A major theme in Cronos revolves around time travel, which naturally adds complexity to the story, and despite the linear format, the devs made sure to include dialogue choices which shape what you experience throughout your journey, including which souls you collect and what kind of information you uncover. It's not a branching open world game, but your decisions will still have an impact. Perhaps the most interesting thing though about the game is that the game will feature multiple endings, much like Silent Hill F, though none of these will be clearly labeled as good or bad. Instead, it's more about how the story unfolds based on your choices. This fits the tone of psychological horror perfectly, where ambiguity and interpretation are often more powerful than a cut and dry conclusion. Cronos: The New Dawn is officially set to release on September the 5th, and there will be a physical edition too available to PlayStation 5 gamers. If you're into horror games that blend story, atmosphere, and a bit of player choice, guys, this one should be on your radar. Let me know what you think of this game in the comments, and let's move on. According to AMD hardware data shared by known leaker Kepler L2 on NeoGAF and Reddit, the combined sales of Xbox Series X and S appear to be well below expectations. Now there's a surprise. Based on AMD's shipment numbers, it's estimated that Microsoft has sold fewer than 30 million units combined this generation. Wow, I mean that is embarrassing. Less than 30 million units sold as of mid-2025, 5 years into the new console generation. And these are combined sales, guys, combined sales for two current generation console machines. To put that into perspective, Sony's PlayStation 5 is estimated to have sold around 78 million units, making it nearly 3 times as more successful in terms of hardware sold. So why are Xbox sales so far behind? One reason could be that while Microsoft introduced the Series S as a lower priced option, it hasn't done much to turn the tide. Even in recent quarters where Microsoft posted solid financials overall, the hardware sales, if you look at that report, the hardware sales were down by 22% year over year. It's a pretty big drop in a market that's usually driven by momentum and exclusives. As for PlayStation, the standard PlayStation 5 was briefly sold at cost, all with a small profit, but rising prices for components like GDDR6 memory and N7 wafers meant more recent sales of the PlayStation started losing money. Interestingly though, only the PlayStation 5 Pro is currently profitable according to Kepler L2. So while PlayStation continues to dominate console sales, it seems like Xbox is still struggling to find its footing even halfway through the console generation. And when Xbox legacy games and big hitting AAA console games are no longer exclusive to that platform, it gives gamers another reason to buy a PlayStation console over Xbox. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and let's move on. So we finally got a real look at what the next Virtua Fighter title might look like. While Sega originally confirmed late last year that the studio who makes Virtua Fighter, Ryuga Gotoku Studio, the team behind the Yazuka and Like a Dragon games, was working on a new Virtua Fighter, we hadn't seen much outside of a brief teaser in January. That clip was labeled as pre-development footage, so fans were left waiting for something a little bit more concrete. Well, now we finally got it. Sega has released a 1-minute video showing off the game in action for the very first time. It's not a full trailer though, so there's no music or flashy effects, but it does give us a genuine look at the new game. The clip features Akira and Sarah Bryan sparring in a training session. There's no heads-up display or health bars, but the animations and visuals suggest the series is getting a modern polish. The video ends with a promise that more details will be revealed at the Tokyo Game Show in September, so fans won't have to wait too much longer to learn more about how the new game plays and what platforms it will be coming to. In the meantime, Sega is keeping the Virtua Fighter name alive with the upcoming release of Virtua Fighter 5 Revo World Stage. It's an enhanced version of Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. The updated version will include 4K graphics, rollback netcode, and balance tweaks for more competitive play. This version is set to drop on October the 30th for PlayStation 5 and Xbox, with a Nintendo Switch 2 version arriving later on. If you already own Ultimate Showdown on PlayStation 4, you'll be able to upgrade to World Stage on PlayStation 5 at a discounted price, which is a nice bonus for longtime fans of the game. Guys, let's move on. Sony is making big moves in China's gaming industry, and it's not just a short-term experiment. Sony is putting serious effort and money into its China Hero project, an initiative that's been growing quietly over the years, but is now stepping into the spotlight in a very big way. The China Hero project started back in 2016 with the goal of finding and supporting talented game developers across China. The idea was simple: give promising indie and mid-sized studios the funding, the tools, and the marketing they need to bring their games to a global audience and help Sony grow its presence in one of the world's biggest gaming markets. Fast forward to 2025, and the project has now entered its fourth phase. This isn't just about local support anymore. Sony is going global with it. The goal is clear: help Chinese developers create top quality games that can stand alongside major international titles on PlayStation 5 and on PC. In this new phase, Sony is expanding its level of involvement to fine-tuning and how it supports developers. And this goes beyond just writing checks. They're actively improving the support network behind the scenes, and it looks something like this. So Sony is supporting with funding, and this is direct financial backing to get projects off the ground and through development. They're also helping with marketing support, helping the teams with exposure through PlayStation's global channels. Sony will support the technical assistance side of things, and that Sony's in-house UI and UX teams will offer input on design, visuals, and feedback to improve player experience. Sony has brought in Virtuous, which is the studio helping remake Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, for co-development support. Meanwhile, RichTap is joining to enhance the haptic feedback, a key feature of the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller. The ultimate goal here is to help bring original, high-quality Chinese games to players all over the world and position them as potential PlayStation 5 system sellers, much like big hits from Japan or Western studios in the past. We also have new games that have been announced. Now, I think it's pronounced Exilage or Exilage, and another game called Dabba the Land of Water Scar. And during a press conference held just ahead of China Joy 2025, one of Asia's biggest gaming events, Sony announced those two new projects as part of the China Hero project's latest wave of games. So Exilage, I think it's pronounced, is a fast-paced third-person shooter built with Unreal Engine. The game blends traditional shooter mechanics with the kind of character-driven action gameplay you might see from games like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta. It aims to be quick, stylish, and cinematic, and a type of game that could fit right in with the PlayStation brand. The second title is called Land of Water Scar. This one takes a very different approach. It's a character action game that tells the story of a humanoid clay puppet set in a mysterious and emotional world. It's a kind of narrative-focused, artistically driven game that has the potential to surprise people if it's done right. Think of Journey or Shadow of the Colossus, that type of vibe, but with its own cultural twist. Both titles are likely going to be PlayStation 5 console exclusive titles, at least at launch, considering Sony is investing directly in their development. I mean, they may go to other platforms further down the line. That's been the case with other China Hero Project games too, such as Lost Soul Aside, which is also launching on PlayStation 5 and PC. Sony clearly sees long-term potential in China's game development scene, and they're positioning themselves to be right at the heart of it. China is already a massive market for mobile and PC games, but its console gaming scene is still developing. By investing early in standout talent and creative projects, Sony not only helps local studios grow, but it also increases the number of exclusives or first on PlayStation titles that can attract a global audience. It really is a win-win for Sony. Developers get access to international resources and exposure, while Sony gets fresh, unique content to fill out its PlayStation 5 lineup. Especially at a time when players are hungry for new IPs and experiences beyond the usual AAA franchises and remakes and remasters, brand new IPs from this China Hero Project is what players want. The China Hero Project might not have made huge headlines across the West just yet, but that is about to change very, very soon. With Sony stepping up its investment, expanding its partnership, and actively guiding these developers with real support, we're likely going to see more high-profile and high-quality, story-rich or action-packed titles from China hit the global stage, not years from now, but starting within the next few months. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in any of these upcoming games from China. Do you think Sony's push into the region will help create more variety in the PlayStation library? So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section about the content discussed in the video today, and I'll catch you on the next video.